Right, good morning everybody. Welcome to Thursday's Total Fitness and today's routine, Meridian. Meridian because it's splitting the body in half. So we're doing a big upper body circuit using kettlebells. If you've got a bit of variety, kettlebells are great. And then a lower body circuit, and then we've got a very last thing, a little finisher for the abs. Okay, so we're really hitting each muscle group in turn. So very different from the last sort of couple of days, which have been very much holistic, hitting everything at once. So let's get warmed up then, and I'll go through the details. Okay, just jogging on the spot then. Just stretch. Circles each way. rest, and you move on to the next one. Okay, so first exercise, we're going to hit chest. So you're going to do 10 floor press each side on that minute. 10, 10, okay? So, let's get that perfect form for that one. So, start position, use both hands to get it there. So your knuckles facing the ceiling. Okay, so you're not starting each step from there. Okay, both hands, because you need a weight that's too heavy to internally rotate like that to work the chest properly. So there, then down every time, elbow to floor, squeeze the pec. Then do 10 reps that side. Switch. And 10 reps. On the other side, elbow to floor every time. Remember, you want to be at 45 degrees, not out like this. Okay? There. 10 on each side. Next one, work your lats. We're going for 15 bent over row per side. Okay? Be there. Into the waist. You'd rather do a staggered row so to give you a bit more support. So you can rest on that front leg, that's fine. 15. And then switch. 15 that side. Make sure you engage in the lat by doing that. Pulling your shoulder down. Okay, so not fully engaged. Imagine your elbows going into the back wall, into the waist, almost at the hip, point of the hip really. You don't want to be like this. Okay, be like that. Okay, so 15 per side. Okay, this will give you a lot of time, a minute to do all that. So you have to do them fairly quickly. Next one, moving on to traps. We're doing chest, lats, traps now. And you do 20 upright row. We want to limit the lower body movement, so we don't want too much hips in it. Just purely the upper body. So you're holding that kettlebell there. Pull, pull. Okay? Up to form a straight line. Okay? That's what you want. Okay? Then shoulders, the main part of the belt. 10 strict press per side. Okay, rack that kettlebell. Okay, hand under the chin, pull the elbow in, and then give a strict press. 10 on that side. Switch. So we don't want any pushing from the legs really. Only resort to that if you get to that point of failure. You just need that bit of lift, that's fine. Okay, and then the last part, arms. We're just going to do an isometric tricep hold through arms, back of the head. Okay, so to find a kettlebell that's suitable to hold like this for 40 seconds. So I'm going to come back here. So the kettlebell disappeared behind the head. I'm just going to hold them for 40 seconds at that 90-degree angle. Okay, just hold everything firm. Okay. And then you go back to the start again, okay? So it's 15 minutes in total per circuit, so we're doing 3 rounds of those 5. Okay, everyone ready? So we're doing 10 chest press per side, is minute 1. We're going to set the timer. Come on, dig deep. Isometric hold. Triceps. We've got one more round. Well done so far. Ready? Chest, biceps, shoulders, lats. Okay, that's one half done. Right, lower half. Again, same template, 15-minute circuit. 5 exercises, 3 rounds. Focusing on all the different areas of your legs. So, number 1, loading glute bridge. 20 reps. So grab your kettlebell, carefully place it on the hips. Keep your chin tucked in, lower back into the ground. Scoop the hips up, touch back down, 2. Let your spine move as 1 unit. Okay? So 20 loaded hip thrusts, really squeeze the glutes. Press the knees apart as you come up. Just to really engage the glutes. Number 2. 20 deadlift. If you want to get heavy or that, you can. It's up to you, depending on how many knee thrusts you do each week. I'm going to deadlift separately in the gym, so I can afford to go a bit lighter perhaps today. If this is your only deadlift of the week, then hopefully you've got a slightly heavier weight that you can really work with. So, 20. On that pick-up point. Okay, knees apart, armpits low, hinge. Okay, hinge the hips. Number 3, rat rear lunge for the top one. 10 per side. So, you're racking up here. Okay, then I'm going to go with the opposite side, 10 on that side. Switch, 10 on that side, rear lunges. Okay? That's probably the hardest one. Getting 20 of them in, but it's not easy. Then we've got Cossack squats. I wouldn't use any weight for this. You're going to go for technique really, particularly after what you've done. Okay, so just go for your technique, nice and wide. Working through one leg, this will stay straight. I'm going to go as low as I can. Okay, whatever you can do. Usually the more you do, the lower you can get. Okay, nice and low. 6 each side, 12 total. Okay, good for mobilising. But even at the first, if you're only doing that, that's fine. One leg straight, just go as deep as you can. Okay, then, the last one. Just like before, we've got an ISO hold, isometric squat. Okay, and hold. That nice and green point. Okay. Right, actually, we've done that. We've got a little ab challenge at the end as well. Okay, So, same principle there. Right, we go there. 20 loaded hip thrusts. 3, 2,
just give me a reason to love you.
lower back, touches the ground.
It's getting closer every day with you around. Months will pass and fade away. And see it now, and nothing holds us back. We will survive. And when there's no one left, you're still by my side. 'Cause you and I can touch the sky. Don't be afraid, hold tight. We had to fall to get it all. Now I know dreams will come alive.
good fun. Ideally, it won't matter too much though. Lovely. Straight into them Cossacks.
Change your heart. Look around you. Change your heart. It will astound you.
finisher for you before we move on to total mobility. Just join in with that. Right. Okay, so what's going to happen? You've got 4 minutes. Okay? Now the challenge is called only lunge will set you free, because only lunge will set you free of these horrible ab exercises that we're going to do. Every minute you're going to switch the ab exercise. So you've got the 2 things. Listen for the bell, because that's when you switch your ab exercise. And also listen for the lyric, only love. Yeah, and they have classic. When you hear that lyric, that is your cue to get up and do a lunge each leg. Okay, or a plyo lunge, and then you're back into your abs. Okay, so look, minute 1 is boat. Okay, so the boat is where you're up, your lower back isn't touching, your hip flexors are quite engaged, but your core's massively engaged as well, and you're holding there. Whenever you hear only love, you can get up as fast as you can, however you need to. Then you can either do 2 regular forward lunges or 2 plyo lunges, and then back into your whatever ab exercise you're doing, which for the first minute is boat. For the second minute is alternate, footy kicks. So this time you're all lying on your back, in that hollow body hold position. So little kicks. Okay. Minute 3, alternate offset sit-ups. Okay, so one leg bent, one leg straight. Sit up, switch. Sit up, switch. Okay? And then the 4th minute, you just hold in the hollow body hold by itself. So like your footy kicks, but without the kick. Okay, so this time, on the last one, you just hold it. Okay? The only rest you get is when you hear that lyric, only love. And then you go and you do either 2 lunges or 4 plyo lunges, 1, 2, 3, 4, much quicker. Okay, or you can just do 2 steady forward lunges and then back. Right then. Just 4 minutes then. Okay. Right, so you're ready. Only lunge will set you free. We're starting off in the boat. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hold in.
Close to me.
yourself come out on a soft space. And we're going to change gear, relax. Half an hour of deep stretching. So hopefully see you for that. If not, we're back tomorrow with chemical, which is a nice mixture. Kettlebell flows, bodyweight flows. With that sort of shopping list template. Anyway, I'll see you in a couple of minutes, or tomorrow, or the next time you're in. Thanks for tuning in. Well done, everybody. Well done.